Hey everyone, it is late at night and I am Norman. Recently one of you reached out to me asking if I would be willing to sell one of the watches that I own. This particular watch just happens to be one of my sci-fi watches that generally lives on the shelf. So I was totally cool with doing that. However, this watch hasn't had a battery in it for a couple years now. And I had no idea what battery it took. Also, it turns out the brand that made it doesn't know either. So I took this watch in to my watch battery changing guy at the mall. He tried out a few different batteries, and it turns out, sadly, this watch is not working correctly. The LCD display in the middle of that clear plastic crystal really looks like it came out of a sci-fi movie, because the numbers and whatnot look like they're displaying some kind of alien language. So sadly, you can't even tell the time on this watch anymore. But tonight, we're going to review this watch and I'll put it back on the shelf. So let us begin. So here is the crazy looking fossil Starck watch. This was a collaboration with the designer, Starck, and I'll have to do a video on their designs. I looked it up a bit ago and it was pretty crazy. And the other fossil watches that were made in the same collaboration are pretty cool looking. So I'll probably feature those as well as some of the non-watch designs put out by Starck. I purchased this watch back when I was hunting for sci-fi watches. I was looking for pieces that looked straight out of sci-fi movies, and this definitely does, especially with that clear crystal. And let me try and get a clear shot. Yeah, there you go. It's missing pixels and just looks like an alien Martian language, which is kind of cool as a bracelet, not as a watch. So who knows, I may keep a battery in this thing, and if I'm in the mood for sci-fi stuff, maybe I'll wear it. However, it does need sized down. So this watch has a butterfly clasp. I rarely wore this watch, but looking at that clasp, you would think I had it on my wrist every day. There's no release buttons, it's just friction. However, it attaches pretty solidly there. But being a butterfly clasp on a rubber strap, that means you have to cut it down to size. So there are notches on the inside, and I never cut this down. Back when I bought this, I used to wear my watches pretty loose, and that is the case with this one. At some point I should cut that down. Since I'll never be getting rid of this watch, think I'll have to do that. You'll notice that there are no buttons on this watch anywhere. There are a couple dimples here. Those are the buttons, and they are not fun to use. So to set it, you have to press down on this top one and hold it, and you can't really feel it pressing there, but it takes a decent amount of pushing to activate that. And then the other one lets you cycle through different modes and set the watch. The design on this watch is so great though. The metal bands on the top and the bottom look amazing, and I love that orange color, and just the fact that it's totally clear and you read the time through it. It is not legible when it's on your wrist. It's dark like this, but I mean, do you really need to tell the time? I mean, look at the crazy sci-fi piece that's on your wrist. Who cares what time it is, right? Am I right? It has a battery hatch, so changing the battery is nice and easy, especially now that there's a battery in it, so I'll know what kind to buy. It's definitely starting to show its age here. Looks like that strap isn't doing so well. The other side looks a bit better. But the gray color of this strap isn't doing so bad. I feel like gray, plastic, rubbery straps like this start to discolor and look kind of dirty and gross. But this one's still pretty solidly gray. I'm surprised that this crystal isn't all scratched up. It is not a very hard acrylic. It's just kind of a plastic that you would see in toys or something. But then again, I am pretty gentle on my stuff, so I think when I did wear this watch, I kind of babied it. As for the specifications on this watch, it's kind of a weird situation. So the case width is 39 millimeters, which is very large for a watch of this design. But yeah, the case height is 9 millimeters. The lug to lug, it doesn't really have a lug to lug. This is just kind of a bracelet. However, this watch piece here, from top to bottom, is 34 millimeters. As for the lugs, you can see it doesn't have any, and the bracelet is effectively as wide as the watch, so 39 millimeters. And the crystal is acrylic. Okay, so let me take off my gilt dial Smith's Everest, and we'll see what it's like when you're wearing the crazy Starck sci-fi watch. And here is the fossil Starck on my 7-inch wrist, and just look at how loose it is. That is so crazy that I wore my watches that loose. Wow. Yeah, I'll definitely size this down so that if I'm in a weird mood, I can actually wear it, even though it's not currently telling the time. Because it is a very cool aesthetic. So I'll get that all nice and snug. And that way when I do a State of the Collection video near the end of the year, this thing will actually fit on my wrist. So sad that it's not really working. These are really, really tough to find. I don't know if I've actually seen one anywhere for sale other than this one. Sad. It is pretty cool looking though. So there you have it, my super rare fossil Starck collaboration watch that unfortunately is no longer a watch. It's just a neat looking bracelet. Thanks for watching.